So, all right, we're live. I did not do the countdown thingy.
Oh,
Oh, that's
yay.
silly. Ah,
We need a
that is
countdown.
silly. Yeah. So, yeah. So, welcome everybody. And no countdown because I forgot to click the countdown button. But yeah, welcome again to our beautiful meetup number somewhere in the 40s, 44, I guess.
Something like that.
Today,
Yep.
we will have a, beautiful walkthrough. Actually, a very nice little machine called Sandworm. It's currently active, so the recording will not be available after meetup. But yeah, let's see how we can what we can do. Yeah, so you have not done it yet?
No.
No.
You mentioned we will do either this one or that one. So this afternoon I was like, I will quickly do this one. And then
Yeah.
you decided to do the second one. So
Yeah. Nice. Nice.
I've not done anything.
Yeah, it is. It is quite beautiful. It is a very fun little box. So let's see. Let's quickly resize the window a little bit. Yeah, there we go. There we go. So I spawned the machine. It is all good, and let's do an nmap on it. And the first part is not very difficult, of course, because we do the machine and we do the nmap scan, and it will teach us that there is a web server on it with SSH as well. So that is quite good. We have to wait for the actual scan. Nice. So obviously there is some basic information here already that we need to take a look at. And normally I put a host name on the machine, but given the nature of this machine, I did the IP address because the first thing it says
It's
is
other
this.
host name than you think.
Yeah, it's other host name. It's also called SSA, the Secret Spy Agency, which is quite funny. So let's add this to our host file. Etc. hosts.
Are you now actually using VI to edit a host file? I mean, there's
Yes.
two things wrong with this whole sentence.
Yeah,
One,
true
where's
story.
your tool?
Oh, sure.
Two, where's Emacs?
Yeah. Let's not get started on that. I will use my tool. I use it for it. It's fine. But else you can do VI or anything to edit a host file. You can even do an echo to the host file if you want. So we can do a ping of it, and it is all good. So yeah, let's take a look. Let's take a look if there's any.
Okay,
other...
now the main question: what can you tell of the ping?
The TTL. It's a Linux machine. Yeah.
Non-Windows.
Non-Windows, generally a Linux machine.
It could be BSD as well. It also has a TTL of 64.
Yeah. It was a very interesting session by Dr. De Kruisen last time. So yeah, again, this one says did not follow, but yeah, that's normal. And there is something on port 443, so nothing else changes. So let's grab us our beautiful Firefox and go to this beautiful website. Oh, I should fix my Firefox. Obviously, it will tell us that there is a security risk, and the security risk being that there is a self-signed certificate. So we do an accept the risk because we're professionals.
You don't click on view certificates because it actually might have some interesting, such as alternative usage and CNs.
Sure. Yeah, we can grab some more information and do the view certificates. But in this case, if we look at the certificate, it has the
Atlas,
a user, which is quite interesting. We'll get to that in a little bit. But for the rest, it's not a lot. But you can grab a username, which is quite fun.
There's no alternative.
No, I don't believe so. No. More information, view certificate. There is no alternatives. There's the issuer, public key, private key. You can download them, but that's it. Plain and simple.
Okay, at least we got a user.
So yeah, we will be good and make some notes because that's good, right? Atlas. So we have a beautiful page, lots of information. There's something very, very important on this one page.
Powered by Flask.
Yes, powered by Flask, all the way on the bottom here. Well, you might wonder what is Flask. Flask, powered by Flask. Using the Flask framework. There's actually
the Python Flask framework. It's a model view controller framework for Python.
Yes, it is a beautiful framework which has one very specific type of vulnerability that is generally used in these type of boxes.
Can I make a guess?
You can make a guess. We can see if it's right or not. So,
Jinja-based SSTI.
Yes, remember that. We can gather all that from this one page.
Subtitles for the people who don't know. SSTI is a template injection, so you inject code into the templating engine, and Jinja 2 is the default templating engine for Flask.
Yeah, true story. So we know a lot of things. We know it's Python-based. One of the most common vulnerabilities in that type of setup is SSTI. Well, that's what we know. We know a user, Atlas, and that's from just visiting this one page. So there's not a lot more to do here. We can do the about, signal intelligence, blah, blah, blah.
This is just asking Wireshark, given that it's a CTF.
No, here comes the fun part. Submit tips, speak up, make a difference. Do you have a lead that can help us? Submit a PGP encrypted tip here and we'll get back to you. All right, encrypted text, hello. Let's see what it does. It's not PGP encrypted, so it has to be real. So you might not know how PGP works. So we'll do a little PGP.
Okay, I'm curious which route this one is going. Yeah.
Don't know how to use PGP? Check our guide. Click on that. Right, PGP demonstration. Practice by importing our public key and encrypting, signing, and verifying messages. So we'll do whatever we need. We'll work down from this. Generally, this is public key infrastructure, so they have a private key and a public key. They can give us their public key, so we can encrypt something with that key that they can decrypt.
Yep.
So there's a thingy here with their key. We will grab this. So I have an empty directory here. We'll do a wget of the PGP. We'll do a wget minus k.
Minus lower capital, lower k.
Yeah. Oh, I have something on. There we go. Doesn't match it. It's not trusted. Minus I insecure. Like.
I don't know. Girl is minus k. Just girl minus k. Minus output.
Yeah,
it actually rendered.
Pip.key. And we'll do nano because you will shame me for it anyway. So
I have so many questions now.
There's a pre-block, so it needs to remove from that. So we have a public key, but we don't have a own key. So we can use GPG. minus gen key, I believe.
Gen key.
Gen
Yep.
key. And I think we can do a name here. Arjen dot. No, it's called Arjen. No.
It will put it in your buffering.
I think it no minus F probably. Real name, Arjen. Email address, hacker@hackdewereld.nl. And this is okay. Now enter a passphrase to protect your key. Enter. Oh no. Enter a passphrase. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Be secure. Right. Take this one anyway. We'll do 1, 2, 3. It will actually generate a key. So we generated a key with this minus gen key. So we have a private key and a public key. And they have a private key and a public key. And the public key allows us to encrypt stuff that they can read, and we can sign it with our key, and they can see what we have written. So
that also means that we need to exchange a pub key with them.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. Import something. Import their pub key. So there's a public key.
Yep.
Public key. Again, we see this Atlas user. Atlas at ssa.html. Right. What was the first thing? The first thing was encrypted text and will be decrypted. So we will encrypt something that we sent to Atlas. So let's make a little message. Echo lumpias are the best food ever. Not with ever. Dot. It's a statement. It's a fact. So text, plain text. And with GPG, we can actually encrypt a plain text. So we have this plain text. If we do this, it will be quite interesting what happens. So if we do a GPG encrypt, enter the user ID.
Yep.
So we want atlas at ssa.html. So it should say stuff. It says we found a user. There's no assurance this key belongs to the named user because there's not a trust relationship. Use this key anyway. Yes, because we know what we're doing. And then we had hit enter, and then we will get a GPG plain text file. But if we look at this plain text file, don't
XXT.
Oh, sorry. I thought it was quite funny. If we look at this text, we will see that, stop doing stuff. We will see that this is not valid plain text. There's like 0, 1 bytes, which are not valid normal bytes, for readable at least. So if we look at the plain text.gpg, it's encrypted, but it is a binary form, which is horrible. We cannot copy that to the thing. So let's remove this one. What we actually want to do the sysadmin way of getting to our command, we do a armor, which will actually make our plain text encrypted, but in a textual fashion. So let's do this, atlas at ssa.html. Use this key anyway. Yes. Enter. Let's do this, and the plain text.ascii, and we see that it is actually
the base64 encoded.
So if we take xclip and
select clipboard. Is it? It's not xclipboard. It's xclip.
Yeah, it's I thought so. Sudo apt install xclip. There we go. Let's make me happy.
Yes. For those using Kali or any other Linux a lot, you will get muscle memory for xclip min select min selection clipboards. Stuff like that is just muscle memory if you use it enough.
True story. So if we look at the encrypted text, we put it in and we do the decrypt part, we get a valid statement which says lumpias are the best food ever.
Okay.
So that is quite nice. So what can we do more? We have some encrypted text. There's something about a public key. Provide our public key, and we will encrypt a message that you can decrypt with your private key, which is quite nice. So one thing to note here is that we just get our own text put back to us. We could actually try within our plain text, nano plain text, to put something like a 7 times 7 SSTI thing, right?
Yep.
We can give that a try. Let's scroll up because atlas at ssa.xp. Yes, enter. Yes. And we
Things I would also try myself is, for example, see if I can use a shell break.
Sure.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, but seeing that there's just plain text going in and the text of the file and not the file itself, I quickly ruled this one out. So let's take a look at our public key. Now I need to remember how to export all keys. No, I forgot how to do
what
it.
was it?
That's not be difficult. GPT export public key. Changing keys, list keys, output.
List keys,
exports.
yeah, minus K.
Hacker at hackthewereld.nl. And now we have Alice. Oh, and again.
Minus armor.
Yeah, hacker minus armor. And that one is good. So we again do xclip minus selection clipboard. And we go to our beautiful website. These are all things that you will spend some time on figuring out this web interface. So there's text here. So if we do a nano encrypted
.ask. Let's be nice and stick with standards. But,
standards are great. Everybody should have them, right?
Oh yes.
DPD decrypt minus file, I believe. Encrypted task. Oh.
Isn't it just decrypt? Now you need your keyring.
So I did my password and it says this is an encrypted message for Arjen. You can read this. It means successfully PGP. Congratulations. Feel free to practice encrypt, sign, and verify messages on your repertoire. So again, in this, none of my input is actually reflected or printed in some form. So we continue. Verify signature. Signatures also nice. We can indicate armor plain text and that we have some text and we want to create a cryptographic thing that tells you that the text is completely transferred without any interventions. So you can you can verify the signature and you can verify the text and they should match. So let's take a look at what a signature looks like. Also, again in plain form text. It looks the same, but generally you would add this as a file to your
Email.
text, and you could email, for instance, or any other form of thing where you want to verify that it is a coherent and unedited text, and you can use this. So if we do this, if we copy this one, uh, we have the signed text. So this is the signed text, the signed message, and we add our public key here. So we have our hacker public key. We add that. It will verify our signature. And now it gets interesting, yes?
Oh, wait. Okay, can consider blah blah blah.
So my question to you, my dear self, what do we do?
This one is not put in a read-only text box. If you're talking about SSTI, then I would actually go. Oh, somebody. Is it just me? I'm hearing a lot of static.
This Cus tries to say something again, or
Okay, I'm just gonna mute the myself here.
did I not mute myself? I should.
Oh, sorry. I would actually, in this case, it reminds me of another one where the CN of an SSL template I use for an LFI. I would go for the name in this case. I would try STI there.
True story. That is exactly the step that I made, and this is the point where my student said, I've been working. I spent hours on this part, and how do you
Yep.
get to this conclusion?" Well, I think that's quite an interesting question as to how do you jump to this conclusion given the information that you have. If we take a
I
look
can
at,
give my 2-second version why I came
sure,
to that conclusion.
and then I'll give mine.
Output of the operations are put in a text box, which is marked read only, which is never rendered, which is of the other things, which are never rendered, which are always plain text. This one is actually HTML rendered. It's not in pre-text by the looks of it. So I would even say,
even if it was a pretext,
then it wouldn't
really matter.
No, but it's still rendered. So an SSTI
Yes.
would work here.
Yeah,
That's what it's not a text box. It's HTML, so it's actually processed.
True. And if I think about this application, we know it's a Flask application. And this output is actually the output of a GPG command.
Yeah.
So it grabs the output and it puts it into this web page or in this box. So in my mind, there is a command running. There's an output from that command. And apparently, I would think this is in some way formatted to come to this screen. And given that it's a Flask application, my mind goes to STI. So I thought,
I would also try command injection here.
Yes, that would be very interesting as well. If the thing that I would supply would actually be a file name or something, but what I can supply is a public key and a signature. So there's nothing
but you
that you would
can mess
actually
around
use.
with your public key. I would see, can I create a command injection in my public key signee name?
Well,
so
yeah,
can I generate
sure.
a GPG key pair? Where in this case it's you have Arjen as your name.
Yeah, sure.
Where I could go to a command injection as name because that one is read from your GPG public key.
Yes, but in order to be a command injection, this Arjen thing would have to be passed on to the command line, and what gets pushed on to the command line
Oh,
uh,
it's
is
the
the
it's the block. Yeah,
it's the
yeah,
blocks. So there's not, but the
yeah.
output.
True, true.
Let's see. There is the Kruisen has a remark which is quite interesting. He says there you can provide STI as a header for the signed message. The GPG output will then reflect the header to indicate that it's an unrecognized header. Oh, that's
Oh, that's interesting.
so would that be like this? I will try this and then make sure it's properly formatted. Would it be? I think it would be more of a. Let's see, using no. Maybe the header is a different format.
Yeah, I'm also no.
GPG sign header. Oh yeah, there you go. There's a hash. Oh, nice, nice. Well, there's at least two ways to this one. SHA-256, something like this. Do I see 7x7? I do not see 7x7. Interesting. Something like that. Interesting. I will show my way that I did.
It's new line. What he's using. Maybe that's the difference.
Could be. Let's see. Spoiler. Yeah. So.
Well, the moment you have an SSTI in Flask, grab your reverse shell. I don't think it's a spoiler.
Yeah, sure. We will get to that. So my thinking was, okay, I get this. This I assume will be used as a Jinja template, and the thing that I can control is this beautiful name here, Arjen.
Yeah.
So let's roll. So I went into the edit keys, edit key. Hacker at hackthewereld.nl. This allows you to edit the key. There's a secret key and there's a thing, and there's a beautiful thing here, a name. So we can say UID, user ID, and then what's the edit UID? Let's see, what is it called? It's not del UID, that we need to add later. Oh boy, where did it go?
I'm googling for you.
Edit. No.
So you do an edit key, then
Edit key, yeah, and then
add
there's
UID.
Add UID. Yeah, that's it. Sorry. Good morning. Add UID. We add a second name. So we can add multiple names. So in case you are known as multiple people, for instance, with a nickname, or you just have multiple identities, email address, comments. So select it and say, okay, I want this one.
Change.
Okay. And now we'll notice that there's two UIDs. So there's this original one and the one with the name. Or send to the real list. So what I need to do, I need to select the first one. So you do UID 1, and then there will be a star here, and we remove this one.
Don't you need a trust?
Oh, trust.
Who cares?
Who needs trust? Yes, there we go. So it's all good. Well, we close it, save the changes. Beautiful. And we do the same thing again, because we now need to GPG minus armor. Yeah, there it goes. Do the export again. Yes, I want this. We do the cut of the hacker thingy again, because our key does not change we are allowed to have this signed text here. So we paste it, we clip it, and bam, we
Oh
have
yeah,
firmed.
Aryan sevens.
We're all sevens. So
Yep.
this is the beautiful, beautiful thing. This is our wonderful SSTI. We've confirmed it. So yeah, now there's only one thing left to do.
Payload all the things by Swisky.
Yeah. Search site template injection for payload all the things. If you are uncertain what STI, but you think there's an STI, there's a beautiful flowchart here. We immediately tried this one here because it leads to Jinja 2. So
I was about to say we can shortcut this because it's Hectorbox CTF and it's Flask, so it's a Jinja 2.
True. And if we look at Jinja 2 Python, we can do some basic injections, but much more interesting remote code. So yes, let's
I like to be open read.
Yeah, I like that one as well. My student asked me, why would you actually choose that one and not anything else? Because there's a lot of things. The reason why I always choose this one first is that it relies on built-in functionality.
Yes.
And there's no reference to other libraries and stuff like that. So I just do this one, copy it, and we will do our little list of edit things, add UID, Aryan with that click.
YAID, why not directly go for? Okay, we can verify first if it works and stuff, or you can just immediately go for a reverse shell.
Yeah. This is the point where you end up in rabbit holes, and I just take long to get to the point. And there's some interesting things going on here still that we need to take care of, and taking small steps, just seeing, oh, the sevens work, ID works, then moving on to a reverse shell. It
you could verify. It's a CTF, so I usually shortcut.
This is basically the difference. Personal preference, right? I like to just verify stuff and do things like that.
And
so
situation that is not a gamified platform, I would fully agree. In a CTF,
sure.
shortcut anything I can.
True. Again, important here. There is this original UID which is already there. I remove it because if we do it, it will take the first one and show you that. So if the thing where I lost most time on this box is that I started doing things with UIDs without removing the one, and then you wonder, why does this not work, right? So save the changes. We do the export again, yes, and we do the xclip. I ended up creating GPG export files for every attack, so I had a list of try doing the ID, then finding out the password file, stuff like that. But yeah.
Yep.
Let's see what it does. So who do you think we shall be after this command?
Did we actually identify what kind of server it was running on?
Flask.
It's Flask, yeah, but is it running behind a proxy, for example, or what are we looking at?
Let's see, sa.xt.
Minus SV.
Yeah. It will tell us nginx.
Okay, so it's reversed. There's behind the reverse proxy. Oh, but the Flask is running on, I don't know if they have any form a dedicated user, or worst case scenario www user.
Yeah, CTFL.
A non-privileged.
CTL says it will be Atlas. and that it
Good
would be my
chance.
guess as well, because the GPG keys or Atlas, we've known from everything that there is a use to Atlas. So let's see. Boom. And indeed, it is Atlas. Atlas, 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 which is quite nice. So
I would have
we
expected a service account, but
maybe Atlas is the service account. Could
not with UID 1000.
No, that's a normal user. Yeah, true story. True story. Yeah, so it's a normal user. All right. So, Mr. Reverse Shell Man, what shell shall we take?
Or we go, given that it's a normal user, not a service user, let's just cut home.ssh.
Yeah, what do you want? Let's
Go
make,
see if there's an SSH key first, so we don't even need to have we don't need to stabilize a reverse shell.
I did not do this, so I am fully happy to do this. So
I mean, if there's a SSH, it's the easiest.
So we will make this assumption sh and then id rsa.pop.
Can't we just grab the private one, just the IDRSA?
Yeah, sure.
Why do we need
Of course, yeah, we need the private key. Yeah, true story. True story. True story. See, and that's why it takes me some time to do stuff like this, right? So yeah, we'll just blindly assume that it's there. Let's see.
I mean, it saves the hassle of an unstable reverse shell, and it has we have re-entry.
True. UID1, Dell UID. It is fun to see what everybody would do, right? And it's not something I tried, so that's quite funny.
You actually went for a reverse shell.
Yeah, and I spent quite a lot of time getting one to actually work. So it
I'm
might be that this
shell
is
number 2 on visits. I will mute myself.
there you go. Let's see what happens. Here we see Aryan with a space, and that's why I put Aryan in here, so that I can always visually see that it's there. But apparently there's no ID RSA, so that's too bad. That's too bad. So yeah, he is not here. So let's take a look. My favorite way of getting shells. You can have your own documentation, of course, but there is a reverse shell generator with the normally it has this theme, I think, but there's a meme theme, so I would highly recommend anybody to use this. Yeah, and then we can start choosing stuff. It is a Python machine, so you might be tempted to just do a Python reverse shell.
My apologies, there was some mild interception here with the child. No IDS RSA?
No keys.
Too bad. Okay, Python reverse shell this.
Yeah. So what do you want to do? What do you want to do?
Let's see. Yeah, this one is usually quite stable.
Yeah. So we do this one.
That just depends on the SOCTN OS package.
So
we don't need to do a Python 3 -c import. We can just, because we have an SSTI and we are inside Python, I think we can just go this.
Do you want to do just this?
We don't have to route through bash, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so you just want to do this import thingy here, right?
Yep. Because we are already in Python, so you don't need to spawn a process from Python, bash from Python, which calls Python to.
Yeah. The problem with this is that we now have command execution, so we can execute commands. So we basically are in a shell through Python. So we used OS module.
True.
So
okay, we are in the OS package. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And then we should do this.
Then we do need this one. Yeah.
And there's some difficulty here. If we take this, this is our reverse shell. see if we can make it work. And we take our template injection.
And
There's
now the
some
question
injection.
is, how do we deal with quotes?
Quotes. Quotes are horrible. I would say we do double quotes here. Take this part, put it here. Remove this junk here.
Now
And
we
then-
need something for the SH, but we could either use that or you
and
insert
SH.
variables. Multi-line string is also an option.
Multi-line strings. Yeah, would that
Or you
work in
introduce an-
SSTR?
I don't know. I don't know if a multi-line string works nice.
Let's give this a try and see if we can make it.
And else you can introduce variables which you can single quote.
So we do our favorite listener. I will zoom in, but we have it in a background, so we can just zoom out and we have the
Did
background.
you just port an IP?
No, I just did it right the first time. So there's 10.10.14.3, which is my IP address as seen.
Okay.
In
Oh,
my thing.
God, yeah.
Yeah, that's why I use ref shells. It is such
Yes.
a wonderful website. Such a wonderful website.
Sorry, two kids suddenly popping up.
No worries, no worries.
Like,
I don't care. So we have our payload. Beautiful, awesome payload. And we do our hacker at hack the vehicle.nl. And we do an OK. Beautiful. UID1, we remove it. It's kind of tedious. I'm sure Chris will make a shell script for this that we can just instantly have all our keys. Maybe he already built it. So we do
64 encoding.
Output. Yeah, that is actually a route that I took as well. I found that easiest. Arjen, unwrap. Why do I need to unwrap? Do you want me to take my clothes off? This is quite horrible. I think RL wrap or RL wrap, maybe. We'll leave it. I don't think it will work yet, so that's okay. So we'll take this one. We go back to our beautiful website. Now we do the verify. It hangs, which is good news. Oh, did we fix it in one time? No.
Nope.
Nothing. No, this did not work for me. This part. It could be that Python 3 does not exist. That could be a thing, right? I wonder. I tried that.
Or that it's not on the path, or
yeah. Let's give this a quick try. Add UID. And some people would say you should put Lumpia. That's also good. Okay. UID1, del UID. Yes. Save changes. This again. See. Beautiful, beautiful thing. Verify. Nothing. Now I spent quite some time with the Python thing, and it did not work for me. So
just a bash reverse.
Well, I did a bash reverse, as any sane person would do, and I did this beautiful line.
This is the most default bash reverse there is. Yep.
And I did the base 64 encoding version of it. Because if you do the greater than, it will complain about the characters. So, in order to use this, let's go to our beautiful note-taking app. We'll remove all this junk here. And we'll do an echo of this with base 64 minus D. and
Bash
run
minus
bash
C.
and C. So it's
Could you put
awesome
it on
while
one line?
working. Yeah. Sure. So we have our command base64 encoded. We use echo to send it. We base64 decode it, and then type it into a new bash shell. I don't even know if the minus C is necessary. I don't think it is
I
necessary.
think it is because that's execute command, and you pipe a command into you need.
Let's
So
see. Let's see.
okay, I'm
Let's see.
curious.
It's fun
As far
to
as
do.
I know, it is needed. What happens if you just say?
Då är see. It's not needed. Let's see. If you have bash and you want bash to run something, you do minus command. But if you
Yes.
pipe it into it, it will run it anyways. So comment it is okay. And then UID1, del UID. Yes. Nice. This looks good.
Okay. Learn
this
something
part,
new.
we export it. Yes. Do a cat. Let's make this birdie sing. And then the fun starts. It's beautiful.
Yep.
Sweet voice. We have something, but I will zoom in.
Could you? Yes. Could you address .ssh?
SSH. There's nothing here. And more. Echo. Lumpia. This. Now tell me what is going on here.
Extended attributes. Alice had er.
Oh, not fine.
Resource groups, C groups.
C groups.
That
Find.
no. The set.
SAD.
SET.
Set.
Okay. Yeah, jailed.
Yeah, we've been jailed, boy. Yeah, so fire jail, and this is what makes it a medium machine, I guess. Fire jail is a mechanism to limit the functionalities that a user can do. So this application.
I don't know fire jail.
Oh, then you know something new.
Yes.
So this application, this Flask application, this website is actually running within a limited environment. So we don't have a lot to work with, especially since things like find do not work. So we have to do a lot of manual things. So this was the home directory, but we actually, when we started, it was somewhere in
www.
HTML. In this directory. This is where we ended up. So this apparently is where our application runs. So if we do ls -al, we have this beautiful application here. SSA.
Sorry, I'm in the meanwhile completely reading up on FireJail. I'm curious how it works. It's whitelisting based and profile based. Okay.
It is quite nice. So within SSA directory, there's our beautiful application. Yeah. So let's take a look. There's app.py, which is our basic application. We can scroll through it. See if we find anything. You might wonder, why do we not grep? Well, you might guess as to what happens when we type in grep.
Well, It's actually also limiting syscalls, which is interesting. It's whitelisting syscall, so it's the inverse of seccomp filters.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm a rabbit hole.
Yeah, rabbit hole. This is your thing, right? So there's a thing. So we can just browse through this application and see what we find. There
Secret.
is some
That one is
secrets.
interesting.
Garlic onion Z of 42. And the secret key. The secret key is not that interesting. I'll take this.
No, it's probably
But
for
the database, right? So
yes.
I don't believe this actually goes to the SSH environment, but we can quickly check. Atlas at ssa.hd. Yes, we trust you because you're the SSA. Control C, Control V. No, that did not work. No. So that's quite interesting. There's no way to get to this MySQL. We cannot do we could maybe do a forward. I did not do it because
I think a forward is doable. Well,
the only thing that we can do, numpia me, we can write into the thing.
could you please buy?
Yes. Yeah. There's.
I mean, that's one of my first go-tos. Just fork pspy in the background.
Not very useful. Not very. It will not be useful. We will get to that later. We will get to that later. But if we take a look at the personal directory,
are there any sockets?
Where are we? Temp. If we go to home Atlas, if we take a look at the personal directory, we notice two interesting things there. What was the first one?
Cargo.
So what does that tell us?
Rust environment.
Yeah. There's actually something with Rust here. And what is the other interesting thing here?
Let's see the .gnu PG, the GPG. I don't know if they have it local.
No, it's actually used for the binary, but the other one is the
.config, which really depends on HTTP. I don't know.
Yeah. Interesting. FireJail here. It is limited.
Nobody, no group with a read-only.
Yeah, true story.
No execute.
This HTTP, which is a command line tool to do HTTP interactions from the command line, totally out of place. So if we look at that, there is a sessions thing.
Okay.
There's a localhost 5000. Interesting.
I guess they didn't whitelist netcut, did they?
And C. Nope. Also listing profiles, processes. I actually spent some time doing this.
Yeah, I was about to
lsproc. That's quite interesting. Maybe before we
I would
get to
iterate
this
over every one and look at least at what is executed.
Let's take a look at this number 20, right? It's easy to remember. Cat proc 20 CMD line.
Yep.
It will actually tell us the command line of the process that is running under pit 20. So I spend a lot of time in the process environment to look at everything. So you can also do proc 20.
I would look at the environment as well.
So that would be this environment here.
Yes.
So that would be cat proc 20 environment. And you see the environment that this process is running under. And then we see indeed the container and stuff like that. So I spent some time working on that. That was quite pointless. Then I went through this HTTP folder and I found this admin.json. And this is quite interesting.
That's an interesting cookie.
Oh, you want to go for the cookie? Sure.
It's a session cookie on.
Go.
Invalid credentials.
Nice
Cookie.
Yeah, it's always cookie thread.
Uh,
So try again.
And then username, password. Okay.
Yes. We find a new user, silent observer. So we could have also seen this user. No. By doing ls/home, and there's a second user, which is called silent observer. We don't have a lot of tools, so the only thing that we found that we can use credentials on is, of course, SSH. Let's see, silent observer, silent lucidity, quite like the wind. It's actually a very noisy thing, wind. So we have this beautiful user entry, silent
And a
observer,
user flag.
and a user flag. So let's see. So we have full user mode thing.
Yep.
Right. What do you think now?
I would standard list sudo -l. Look for binaries with a setuid if we have anything.
Yeah.
Look for owned files. Okay, no need for setuid binaries.
So if we do perm, looking for -4000,
Yes.
null.
That's interesting.
Yes.
And then I'm like, oh, I don't know this one either. What's tipnet?
Tipnet. Yeah, that's beautiful. So let's first take a look at this one.
S&P Global Mobility Automotive single sign-on.
Nice. If we take a look at FireJail, FireJail is Suite for the people that can execute it, which is the owner and the groups. Jailer is the
Groups.
group, and Silent Observer is not in the group. So FireJail.
If you got etc group, because I would then want to know, are there any other users in there?
Jailer is Atlas. We get back to Atlas again.
Yes. Okay.
So from our very limited shell as Atlas, we go to Silent Observer, and apparently FireJail can be run by Atlas because he ran his own. And then there's this thing here.
And I'm also, if you're talking about suites, if you go up a bit back, debug dependencies.
Yeah, for Tipnet.
For
so
Tipnet,
there's
also
Tipnet.
with a suite.
Yeah, because spoiler alert, this cargo, this Rust binary, it will build, and this is actually the same binary as this one. So it is different builds. So Tipnet,
different builds, same.
Everybody can execute, and we can become Atlas. So we see this inception going on here from Atlas. We want to Silent Observer, and we are allowed to go to Atlas. MySQL also lists Odin. Very cool, very cool. CTFL says that there's also an Odin. So CTFL, did you do that as Silent Observer? That would be interesting. But this Tipnet is quite interesting. So if we go to opt tipnet, tipnet, targets, debug.
But you first go to optipnet because now I'm really interested in the source. I'm guessing it's
it is quite an interesting application. So it has mandatory ASCII art.
okay. I mean, that has to be lead. We don't spy on you much. It has to be lead.
Yeah. So there's something called pool, which does something. You can enter some queries, which is user input is always good, right?
Pool and dice is from a local thing. Submissions. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Remember that on the website we could actually input stuff as a submission. So there's a command new output expect. So this tells us how to run a command. Who am I? Right, get mode, very interesting. There's apparently a menu with different methodologies that can be done. There is a user, again.
Another database user.
Another database user, yes. We will focus on the database. I once went to a training session by a company in Paris, and they had a application that had database stuff into it, and he used to say, "We will focus on the database." And the person that was with me, they got really after a couple of hours of hearing, "We will focus on the database." You hear something else than focus. So,
yes.
It works quite fun.
String from with push string.
Yeah.
Always interesting.
Always interesting.
But not the recommended way in Rust.
No, but
SQL injections are still a thing.
Yeah, let's take a look at Peter's manager. Grab MySQL. MySQL runs as the MySQL user, so it will be lower privileged. So there's probably not a lot of stuff to do here. So maybe we should run the application, see what it does, right? That's good one. See, lead. Whoop, whoop. Interesting that it has this DB thing here, but rabbit hole. There's some whips here. Work in progress. B. Muscular selected. I selected regular. Mode is still try again later. So there's this refresh that we can enter. Pulling complete.
Could you trace it?
Trace.
No.
Please ask your administrator. And we can do an.
Do we have GDB? LLVM GDB? I mean, that would be my first thing. Just that's a debugger. Have fun. Bye.
That's why you go into rabbit holes. Enter a keyword. Arjen? No, we do lumpia. Lumpia. Best food ever. That's it. So if you take a look,
echo string. Okay, too late. Echo string question mark. But I was curious if there was an error result code or a normal whatever.
Sure.
Doesn't matter.
Ooh, for the hard. Did you see the last episode of Game of Thrones? Nice. It's nice, huh? It's logs. So okay. Interesting here is also this access log for the interested reader. There was a thing here. Where is it? This is the submissions. And there was a logger log here. Logger log that does some logging. but it is unclear what the logger logging is, except for that there is a extern create logger here. So we don't know
Yes.
a lot here, but we noticed a access log here, and the access log had our AA thingy here, and the
Who owns
best
it?
food ever.
Who owns it?
Atlas.
Atlas. Okay, that's expected.
Because it is created through this application.
Yes.
So, what do you think? I was
Things I
quite
would.
pleased with myself on this next step.
Okay. We are silent observer user
Yes.
Atlas if we run it. So it's so
let's see if the chat has any suggestions. CTFL is quite with us at the moment. I already gave a hint. See, this where this is the point where I'm happy with myself, and you're all like, "What? Can we steal the private key?" We did not have anything to enter in order to get some type of file. You always love to see source. Yes, yes, the source is beautiful.
yes.
The interesting thing is, could we cargo build it and change it to our liking? I wonder if I shoot myself in the foot here and I have to rebuild the machine. Let's do the thing that you suggested first. P-Spy. Let's see what happens on this machine.
Yeah, I don't have enough info. I would like to know what happens on the machine.
Yes.
64-bit static.
Yeah, there we go. Let's do this. Oh, I already have it on my machine. Let's create a new one. Move downloads PSpy 64. It's good. 2 boxes. Sandworm. There we go. And we do the SCP of PSpy to silent up server at ssa.http. Grab the password from our beautiful notes, because you do take notes, right? There we go.
Yes. When I'm doing a machine, I'm absolutely taking a lot of notes. That is absolutely correct.
So, PSpy.
Okay, for the people who don't know PSpy, it's a process spy, non-privileged, keeps an eye on everything that's being executed.
Yes. It will tell us processes that are run or are running or being run. So we have this SSH. This is our actual shell going on. We see the commands.
Yes.
So there's stuff like that. There's the MySQL.
I saw a nice Tommel, Laurel the Tommel.
Laurel the Tommel, yes. Do you know what Laurel is? Laurel. Laurel.
Let's see. Seam. It's a log ingester.
Yeah, I'm thinking that the Hack the Box will be going into a thing that they will try to figure out people who cheat, in the sense of following directions, in the sense for active boxes. But yeah, we'll see that later. So what we see here, blah blah blah, sudo su atlas cargo bin run offline, optitnet sudo cargo bin run offline. So this is the directory that we see. So apparently this thing is being built every once in a while.
Yes.
So that's quite nice. Cargo run, and then
Sleep 10.
and this will actually will run all the or create the files. So and we'll clean
Yeah,
it
this
up.
is cargo. What is it?
Then there's a cleanup going on, which is and then there's a Shemot US. So this runs on the timer. So if we try to do it ourselves,
It, the cleanup might hit. I don't know what the cron timing is, but
sure. Let's try OpTipNet cargo run minus offline. Offline because normally cargo will go onto the internet and grab the
yes.
indexes and see if there's any updates, stuff like that.
Rune also says Git history, which is by definition a good thing if you have a Git repo. But
Git log.
Git logs. But in the history of there is no Git.
There's no Git. There's
there is a Git. Git logs.
Not a Git repository. Do it not have rights? I have rights. Git log. Or any of the parent directories that gets. You are on crack. Git status.
Yeah.
Root atlas. Oh, we're not in a group. We're not allowed to execute the directory, so we're not allowed into the directory.
Again, -6 missing. Yep.
Yeah. So let's see. Can we edit the source file? The source file is also not editable for us. So this thing is being built, but the source file is not editable.
What's the cargo toml? What's defined in the cargo toml? Let's see how it's defined.
Toml. And this is quite interesting. This for most people, this is new. And if you
Crates logger, that's where I would immediately go.
True story. So exciting new technology, stuff like that. Actually, there's also, if you tell it to find a writable and you do a def null, there's also something interesting. Grep crates. And you'll notice that there's the opt crates immediately jumps out when you do this, right? So crates. There's a logger. If we do a ls -al, this is actually silent observer territory. And indeed, we can do
source.
git log, detect a dubious ownership. Nice. Trust me, I know what I'm doing.
Yes.
It's not entirely. And this is the interesting thing. Remember that cleanup? This is the cleanup. The directory looks empty.
Go into it again. Yeah, it's was dereferenced. I know it was dereferenced and re-referenced again. Good luck.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is what I really dislike about having private machines and this happening on private machines.
Yeah.
I understand why, but
I think it is good in the sense that it helps against what comes next. But yeah. So if we look at the source, there is a lib.rc which is readable and writable by us. So after being struck over the head a couple of times with this cleanup thing, I did this, copy lib to my home directory.
Smart.
Shell. Silence observer and the same HTTP. Right. Nice. So we have this lib.rc. Lib.rc is quite interesting. CTFL says lib build does, there's an include, copy errors to temp and edit. I need to leave early. See you later, Dash Turtle. So indeed, we see this access log and this and that.
Yeah, no, this is easy to adjust to do whatever you want.
Yes.
Even without knowing the Rust.
but there's a bunch of things that we can do. I
Anything, everything.
opted for this. Um,
Okay. Yep.
We could also write into a authorized files and stuff like that, right?
Yes. Bin
Something like
bash.
this. Yeah, we can do a bunch of things. Arg -c, and then we can do arg everything that we want. Something here, and then we do the output. We saw that in the. You might wonder, how do you know this? Well, remember in the original file there was actually the who am I command being called in this same particular way. So there's actually some hints there as to how you can do this. Otherwise, it's just one Google search or one Chat GPT question away. Expect run full. So the question is, what do we make it do? Do you have any preference?
Fired non-jailed Atlas user. How many reverse shells do you want? Or copy bash and join it to yourself and sue it. Pick one. Pick your poison.
So
Doesn't matter. Pick one.
pick one. All right, I'll do a ref shells. I'll just stick to our ref shells thingy, right? Remove the coding here. Bash, bash. We'll take this one. That will be fine. That will be fine. What's the worst that can happen? Let's first take this shell. Yeah, there we go. And put a new one here. Because we are a beautiful, beautiful user, right? Let's pick this up. Let's make it a little bit pretty. So we have this beautiful.
You know you
beautiful...
program too much Rust when you start even your backdoor outline formatting your backdoor. Yes.
Yeah, well, actually, I should do this, right? So.
But,
right, okay, so enough fooling around. We have this bash command. This was quite interesting. Let's save it. What we can do now is the copy of lib.rs to opt creates logger source. Now the interesting thing here is that we need to make sure
it's a race condition.
That we do not get into this beautiful building. Let's build it. Should have done this offline thing, but that's okay.
It will fail anyway. But there's actually a potential race condition between the one builder and the cleanup.
So we have this thingy here, and then we go into tipnets, targets, debug, and do the tipnet thingy, and do upstream. A. Oh, that was interesting. Oh, no, that's correct. That's correct.
That's correct.
And apparently I was too weak, too slow.
Well, it could be that it...
No.
There we go. It could be that it wasn't rebuilt yet.
That's true. That is true.
So
maybe I didn't even have to execute it, and that it would just run.
No, I think it does. So
we're back to where we started. As Atlas. Yes.
Okay. Now, is there a priv ask using jailer? I don't know.
Fire jail. Fire
jail. Or a fire jail. Yeah.
Because you might
any
remember
Dockerized container, etc. I would say, yeah, that's root. FireJail local privilege escalation.
So FireJail is at version 0.9.68.
0.9.68.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if we know something before that, so cve.mitre search
2022.
FireJail.
31214 privilege context switch, which makes sense given
Yeah.
context switch, given that it's already suit.
Yeah. So let's take a look. What do we know here? Context thingy. There is some lists here, and this open wall is always quite interesting. It's like a mailing list with people send interesting things there. The other ones are generally just vendor-based notifications. We could do this FireJail, which is just release notes. So that's not very interesting. But this FireJail here is quite interesting. Following, it has an introduction. So this seems to be the first type of thingy.
Availability is severity 7.8, availability high, so there is a POC.
Yeah. So there's a thingy here that explains the vulnerability. You could read it. There's some workarounds. Proof concept exploit attached is a proof of concept Python program. Nice. So we scroll through it, and there is this firejoin.py. So click, and there's this beautiful FireJail Python thingy. So okay, let's do this. Not here. wget move one to FireJail cve.py. Less FireJail, but cve. It seems to be quite nice.
I'm quickly reading it, but curious what it does. Go on while I'm reading it.
So let's see what goes on, if there's any helpful instructions here. I think there were some print statements. Even kijken. Let's see. All right. At the end, it says you can now run FireJail join in another terminal to obtain a shell where sudo minus su minus will grant you a root shell. So we need a second shell. Our current shell is quite horrible in a sense that it is a very limited shell. So let's
just go to SSH and add your own key.
What a good idea! What a good idea! Let's do it here. SSH keygen -f Sandworm. So I create my own public key for this machine, not my actual public key, because that would be bad. Echo. And do authorized keys.
I'm trying to quickly understand it, but it looks like it tries to mount a tempfs over a proc directory. It's
No, not good. Authorized keys. Do I need to chmod it 600 or something? Authorized keys.
Yes. Is that?
Oh no, I need to actually send my key, right?
Minus I.
Almost correct.
It's not 600, by the way. I think.
But it works. Sandworm. We'll do this. sh minus I Sandworm. Be in the right directory now. Yes. sh minus I Sandworm. Atlas at Sandworm SSA.htb. Nice. So we're ready for the beautiful exploit. We have it here somewhere. I almost had it here. So boxes, Sandworm. So we do the fire jail and we copy it over. We can again use the minus I believe. There's something funky here. Let's see. Atlas at sa.htb. Beautiful. Oh. It said Python 3 fire jail on it. Oh, thank you very much. It's very okay. Fire jail. Let me check. It says now you can run this. So we just copy.
Yeah, it's
so now it says that we should do sudo su minus, but we're not in. So I was kind of stuck here, and then I did something silly, and then I became alright.
okay.
Quite funny.
Interesting. Oh, there's no sudoers.
There's no sudoers, so it actually made it su. It su. So that's quite interesting. And we now have this beautiful access to the root file. And with that, we have this beautiful machine all tied up. It's nice, huh?
I like it. I didn't know fire jail, so I'm reading up on that one.
True.
This exploit is also really funny because it actually creates a fake fire jail that you then join. And it uses an overlay tempfs that it mounts over the proc. It's actually funny. But yeah, this namespacing, quite interesting. Didn't know
it's quite a good little machine.
Yes,
it's quite fun.
Yeah. And Rust is always good.
Yeah, there's some very interesting things here. The fire jail itself, so being jailed and having a very limited shell. The Rust is a very nice entry. I like Rust; it's a very nice programming language. But if you have no experience with it, this step is quite hard in the sense that you need to edit the file and do the build without knowing the tool chain.
Yeah, and that's a race condition on execution, which is not nice between the cleanup script and the build script of the main program.
Yeah, it might have been better to have a manual cleanup script that you could run or something.
Yeah, but it's the boxes are the same for shared. I mean, it's nice if you have a private instance, but if you have multiple people on the box, you might have a problem.
Indeed. So it was quite interesting. I liked it. It was a good machine.
I like it. It's a nice machine. I agree.
The sad thing for me was the fire jail CVE. And not in the sense that it was very sad, but it was the entire chain was things that you do yourself. So you do your GPG key, you do the STI, you create the shell, you move, you find silent observer, you go to silent observer, you go into Atlas again, and then you run a CVE. So it would be fun to have something that maybe leverages the Rust code again, something like that. But then, all in all, I was very happy, very happy.
Well, I think it
So-
would also go into heart if it would have been a more complex prive-esque.
Yeah, true story. True story.
That,
So yeah,
nice
I
box,
think it's
good
nice
choice.
box. Not too hard, but very cool to do. So
Yeah.
that's it.
But,
So I hope you enjoyed it. Next month in August, we will have a regular Hack the Box meetup. I actually scheduled my vacation to be between our meetups. So we'll do a regular, plain old fashioned online meetup with another nice little box with interesting things.
sounds like
I
fun.
think we only have to give away some goodies still, and then we will go and have some chit chat in the beautiful Discord environment. So if we'll say goodbye, and I will delist this video so that it's an active machine. Yeah, there we go. Say bye, Salp.
Bye, Salp. See you on
Bye,
Discord.
Ari.
Hey,
See you
thanks.
later. Bye
Bye.
bye.